send us to the ninth inning. You know what time it is? It's time for Mason Miller.
The Padres, number 22, Mason Miller.
Welcome back to another episode of Baseball in the Bible. I hope you are as fired up as we are after watching that Mason Miller intro.
Are you ready? Yes. Welcome.
Insane.
Yes, that is the best entrance in baseball right now in this early season.
Beat it. I dare you.
Yeah, it's a good entrance. Mason Miller with his new team, the Padres. But we hope you're ready. We're ready.
We are very
We're fired
ready.
up.
We are fired
after the
up.
Mason Miller entrance. We want to start having our own intro music to the pod and getting us fired up as we walk
in. It's
walk
just
into the chairs.
Yes.
Yes. So, yeah, we're ready.
Absolutely.
Awesome walk-up song. We got a lot of baseball to get into in our devotion. So we hope you guys are ready. Thank you for being with us.
Yes, we have a new segment coming up.
We have a new
later.
segment, or something we're going to try to do every episode. Where do you want to start?
I think
In the week of baseball. We're recording this again early, midweek here is on a Wednesday before this. Yeah, we can start there.
Hank, yeah. So it's the 75th
No. 52nd. It was April 8th, 1974. No, that's all right.
Yeah.
1974, April 8th. Today, when we're recording this, you're watching this after the fact, but April 8th, 1974, 52 years ago, Hank Aaron broke Babe Ruth's 714 by hitting 715. So we got Hammer and Hank up here in honor of him. We have a Mount Rushmore of athletes up here today.
Absolutely.
We got Roberto Clemente, Hank Aaron, and Jackie.
The only person I think that is missing from this Rushmore is Ruth.
Yeah.
We couldn't fit him up here.
But we had to have a Cardinal, so we got Willie McGee hiding over here in the corner. But but yes, it's a pretty good list. But yeah, today's the day. Hammer and Hank broke the record. So we can start there. What else? What else can we start with as we get into the week that's passed? Anything you want to give? We can give an updated standings.
Yeah, I like that.
See where we're at.
Let's do that.
Again, recording this, some things may have changed by the time it airs, but let's just see. So
this
Wednesday
is where
afternoon.
It is on Wednesday.
Yeah, so we had some games that just finished, afternoon games. We'll start in the National League. The Central, a little bit of a surprise. The Reds, as of today, are leading the division 8-3. Actually came into Texas and ruined opening day at home for Texas. Actually swept them here in Texas. So 8-3 for the Cincinnati Reds. We'll see if that lasts. Brewers are 8-4. They're legit. Pirates, my wild card team, 7-5. So they're off to a good start. The fighting Cardinals are 7-5 as well.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Yeah. The best part of all this is I haven't mentioned the Cubs yet because they're in last place as of today. 5-6. Cubs bringing up the rear.
Don't they have 2 injuries now?
They did. They lost 2 pitchers, Matthew Boyd. We quietly do it. We don't give
publicly.
we quietly. But Matthew Boyd, I think, again, for those guys, it stinks. Obviously.
For us Cardinals fans.
I think he's out for the year, and then they had another starter. They got hurt. I forget who it was. But we'll see what happens in that division. Just a quick thing on the Cards. Jordan Walker, as of today.
Getting hot.
He's I think, tied or leading the league with home runs. He got 5 as of today. He's on a little bit of a heater, which is awesome because we've been waiting for that from him. National League.
Face in a week, he has that turtleneck on.
Yeah, well, they've been playing in some cold places. So, National League East, you got the Braves as of today, 8-5. Mets second. Marlins, who started off 5-1, have kind of come back to reality. They're 6-5. Phillies 6-6. The Nats, who Cards just wrapped up a series with them, 4-8. They've got a really good. I mean, I think they're first or something. They're up there in hitting, but their bullpen is not good. The Cardinals isn't either, but it was a battle of bad bullpens in that series. The West, Dodgers 9-3. I think they've pretty much wrapped up that division already 2 weeks into it. Their magic number is like 10 to – I'm just kidding. But they're Padres are 6-6. Everybody else is kind of right there, 500. But they are –
I want to say bullpen-wise, although the Nats might not have the best bullpen, they might have the best looking. Cavalli, that mustache, that's a killer mustache.
That is a killer mustache.
I don't know if we can get a photo.
I don't think he wasn't. I think he was the starter though. That was the starter. That was a starter for game 2. But it is a good mustache.
Great mustache.
It's worth giving it a shout out. All right, in the American League, as of today, Yankees are in first, 8-2 in the East. Baltimore, 6-6. Tampa 5-6. Toronto 5-7. Boston 4-8, and they've been off to a rough start. They're going into St. Louis this weekend. As of when this is airing, we would have just wrapped up that series with the Sox. The Central, the Guardians 8-5, Twins 5-6, Royals, who I picked, are a little struggling, 5-7. Detroit struggling a little bit, 4-7. White Sox 4-8. And in the West, our local team, Rangers, again, even after getting swept at home, which is surprising. They turn around and they just came off a sweep. Just finished up a sweep today of the Mariners. So they're 7-5 in first. Angels 6-7. Astros 6-7. Mariners off to a rough start. Their big boys are not hitting yet.
They'll wake up.
4-9. They will wake up, I believe. But this is part of what when we talked about our predictions. I was a little worried. Again, I still think they'll be fine. And the A's are 3-7. So those are kind of your standings as of April 8th. Few surprises, but again, it's still so early. Can't draw any big conclusions there. A couple things that we wanted to talk about, just some cool things. Ohtani, again on April 8th, he pitched today. He had a scoreless streak. He had a scoreless streak as a pitcher, I think, of 22 and a third or 22 and 2/3 innings heading into the start against the Blue Jays. This was a rematch of the World Series, and the Dodgers won the first 2 pretty convincingly. Again, and it was in Toronto. Blue Jays are struggling a bit, but I believe they'll find their legs too. But Ohtani was pitching.
Based off of these.
No. I mean, again, I think you can look for some signs maybe, but some of these teams I think will rally. And even as we're airing this today, they had a big comeback against the Dodgers. They won today, which hope maybe that'll be a kickstart, to get them going. But the very first pitch of the game today, Ohtani is the first pitcher to ever challenge the first pitch of the game with the ABS. That's the first time it happened. So, and he got it wrong. But I don't know that you want to challenge pitch 1. Again, I think it's a little premature.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he ended up giving a hit to George Springer, but he challenged pitch 1. He makes history wherever he goes. Anyway, he's heading into this game, and he had that streak broken. I think he gave up a run after the 2 innings, so it ended at 24 and a third or 24 and 2/3. But he does still have a on-base streak going as of today of 43 games, I believe. 43 consecutive games being on base, which is incredible. He's approaching record-type stuff, so we'll see if that keeps going. He walked his first at bat of the game, so that kept the streak going. But 43 games, counting last season, so it's pretty awesome.
Weatherhold's done.
Weatherhold's doing good. Yeah, he's got 10.
Or 10, yeah.
Yeah, 10. or 11, 10 or 11, whatever. He's every game that he didn't start one game, but every game he started, he's reached base. So I think it's 10 or 11 games to start his career that he's got on base, which is great.
That's how Ohtani started. So
Yeah.
got to start at the
We could
bottom.
talk about Weatherholt a little bit when we talk about some of the other young guys that have been called up. We had him. We talked about him last week, but then also this week, Connor Griffin was called up for the Pirates, the number 1 prospect in baseball.
Can I tell them how you got by AI?
Oh yeah.
So my dad, we were having Easter.
Yeah.
We were setting up for that. We were watching the Pirates game
Yeah.
up on the TV, and my dad's like, "Man, that Konnor kid, he is off to a start. He has 2 home runs." And then he comes to me later in that same day, I think.
Yeah.
He comes to me and says, "So he didn't have 2 home runs." Apparently that video was AI, because they were doing like a walkthrough of each of his at bats.
They were just totally made it up because that was his first series and it was at home.
Exactly.
And when I saw the video,
Yeah.
he was at Fenway Park and he hit like 2 bombs over the monster. And then I was watching the game. I was like, wait a second, they're at home. They're playing the Orioles. So I got, and then I saw his stats, and he hadn't hit a home run as of yet, but he did. I think his first AB, he had a double. His family was there. Just incredible that you have him, and then you have McConaughey for Detroit playing third. He's off to a great start, and then Weatherholt. So just the fact that these kids are being it may be the new way, where these guys are being thrown in. Again, Connor Griffin is only 19 years old.
Insane.
And
Just became an adult.
yeah. And then the other new trend with these guys is both Griffin and McConaughey have been locked up already. So the Pirates just signed Griffin to a 9-year, $140 million contract. So not bad for 19 years old, right?
Not bad at all.
So again, we talked about it a little bit. It's kind of risky to do that, but
Absolutely, because you have to be sure that they will.
You have to have pretty good faith, and now if he does turn into a superstar, you've got a bargain by today's standards. But if he, gets hurt bad or just flames out, then that's going to look bad on you. But I think it's worth the risk, and I think the Cardinals probably will do it with Weatherholt here pretty soon. Matter of time. Anything else that you think from this week that jumped out at you? Trying to look through.
You want to get to the little Monday incident?
Oh, the fight.
Yeah,
We had a fight.
On the mound. It
Nothing
was
much
again.
there.
It was during the Angels and Braves.
Yeah.
Little kerfuffle there.
Little kerfuffle. That's basically all it was. Yeah.
I mean, they were throwing punches.
They were throwing punches, but not really landing punches.
No,
but they
no
were throwing
punches were landed.
Soler
But
charged
they
the
have
mound. Yeah.
Suspensions.
They both
now.
got suspended 7 games each at this.
That's just
point.
one start for the pitcher, so that's not.
Yeah, I
too
gotta
much.
have to check. We haven't. I think Lopez is a reliever, so it'll be 7 for him too. But
Maybe.
I could be wrong on that. But either way, they both got suspended 7 games. One thing I forgot to mention when we talked about the Rangers. The Rangers just swept the Mariners. Mackenzie Gore pitched really well again for them, so give a shout out to him and the local folks. But that's his second start now with the Rangers. He's a new guy, and he's done very well. I think he went 5 and gave up 1 hit today. So pretty good for him. We had the fight. What else did we have this week that we talked about Mason Miller in his intro. He's also had, I think he had a streak of 11 straight batters faced. He struck them out. So, again, he's a reliever. He's coming in to close the game. But that's still an incredible streak. I think he had it in this week in Pittsburgh. But he's come out of the gates awesome.
Yeah.
Literally. And
Center field
with
gate.
with his new team, he's showing how good he is. So he's done very well to start his time. Again, that's always a tricky thing when you're coming to a new team. Sometimes you press a little bit, but he's doing well. What else we got? Anything else? think that's it.
The new segment?
The new segment, we can do that. So what we're going to talk
Okay,
about
so-
each week, we're going to do what?
Player of the week.
Player of the week.
So this week,
Yeah.
we have something that first time it's ever happened. For the last time it might happen. What's his name? For the
Joe Adell.
Joe Adell for the Angels is our
Joe
player.
Adell is our first ever
player
player
for
of
the
the week. And it had to be Joe Adell. It could only be Joe
It could
Adell.
only be him because he just made history
Yes.
with. You'll see it in this video.
Yeah.
But 3 robberies
3 robberies in one game.
in one game. And the funny thing is, if they had hit all of those home runs, it would have been 4-1.
Yeah, it was a 1-0 game.
1-0 game, Angels win, but it could have been 4-1 Mariners.
Yep. So we get and we're going to show them. It's too good not to show, so we're gonna put them up here on the screen. So
Bad
And we'll
time
just
to
talk
be a
through it.
listener. I'll tell you that.
if you're a listener, go home and watch it. But we'll try to recap it as we watch it here. But let me pull it up.
Try to get the announcers in the microphone.
Okay, we'll try to do that.
That way they can hear what's going on here.
All right, let me get it pulled up. And again, this is Joe Adell against the Mariners.
Right field.
Right field.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first one.
Cal Raleigh. Nothing short of acrobatic.
First inning. You think, oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, what a great way to start the game. First inning. Runner on base would have been a two-run shot. That would have been Cal's first home run of the
Big dumper.
big dumper. Turn this down a little bit. All right, now we're in the 8th inning.
Celebrating.
It's so cool. I saw the next day in the Mariners on their whiteboard, for the notes of the day, like the play, like their strategy basically.
Yeah.
It just said strategy for the day: do not hit the ball to Joe Adell. That was basically like their game plan for the day. Do not hit the ball at Joe Adell. Here we go. This may be the best one. 9th inning, 1-0 still.
In the stands.
Now here's the thing.
He's gone.
You'll hear him talking about it. If he's in the stands, like if he jumps and lays in there and then catches it, it's a home run. So at first they didn't know. They called him out, and then they challenge it. The Mariners challenge it because if he's in the stands, you can't like jump in the stands and catch the ball there.
Yeah, that's not allowed.
But if you catch it while falling in, so then they start showing the highlight here, and you can clearly see.
He caught it in fair.
Look at Crawford's reaction. So he got
Crawford.
He got Cal Riley in the first. He got Bo Naylor in the 8th. Or Josh Naylor, I'm sorry. Josh Naylor in the 8th. Now they're challenging. But here you can clearly see. Got it. And then he falls in. This picture right here where he stands up, there's a picture from it. I think we'll use it as it's probably going to be our thumbnail for this episode. But it's just the image of him from behind. He's standing in the crowd, holding his glove up with the fans all around him. So they're challenging it right now to see whether he was.
He was.
Yeah. Unbelievable. I mean, one is one thing. 3, again, it's something that's never happened and may never happen again. Crawford's reaction is like, you got to be kidding me.
Crawford.
Here they come with the ruling. And just the reaction from him and from the crowd, man.
I mean, that's in Angel Stadium. You gotta think, would he be getting like booed if he was in Seattle? Or if he was in Seattle?
I don't know if you could boo that. That was just so great. So
That's amazing.
So there you go, Joe Adele, our first player of the week, and we're going to do that every week. Just highlight somebody that
Done amazing.
was awesome that week. So pretty cool.
That's our baseball for
That's
this
our
week.
baseball.
Let's get into the second part of our podcast name, the Bible.
The Bible. Yes. And if you've been watching and paying attention, we covered 1 Samuel, then we took a little break for Palm Sunday and Easter. And now we're going to pick back up in 2 Samuel. Picking up, again, just quickly, 1 Samuel, Saul had just died in battle. Jonathan died as well.
Well, Jonathan died in battle. Saul just killed himself.
Saul, well, no, but he was from battle. He was wounded from battle. He didn't just do it.
Yeah, true.
It was on the battlefield where that happened.
He was wounded, and then
They just basically, he was asking somebody to take him out of his misery, basically.
yeah, essentially.
And somebody does. And you learn about that person in
Here.
the first chapter of 2 Samuel. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to recap. We're going to go through it. This is not a deep dive. We're going to try to cover it as quickly as we can over the next 3 weeks or so. 2 Samuel. If you haven't read them, Riker, recommend it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's, I'm covering the first 4 chapters, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an action movie. Like that, I've described it as that throughout 1st and 2nd Samuel. It's just an action movie.
Yeah.
And a rated R action movie.
Yeah, you feel like you're kind of getting away with something, right? By being able to read this. It's like
It's like,
it's like you're getting to watch an action movie that you're not supposed to watch.
It feels like I'm, because I have like that thing where if I read it, I imagine it
Sure.
in my head.
Yeah.
So I'm basically watching a rated R movie by reading this.
Yeah, you are, but it's true and real, and
Yeah.
and again, just that we've talked about it, but yes, these 1st and 2nd Samuel it's an action movie. So
Absolutely.
if you haven't read them, join us. We'll work our way through it, but again, we're picking up here in chapter 1. And Riker, how would you summarize chapter 1?
So basically, chapter 1, this entire chapter is David hearing about Saul and Jonathan's death and mourning. I feel like that's a good way to describe it, because the first half of chapter 1, it says David returned from striking down the Amalekites. That's what he was doing at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he was having a day of his own. And a man comes, it says, with his clothes torn and dust on his head. So clearly he's been in the battlefield.
No, that's a sign of mourning.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, that's
I
a sign
didn't
of
know
mourning back in that time. Yes, so he's
Okay.
been mourning.
So, yeah, he's been mourning. David asks, "Where have you come from?" Basically, he just says, "I escaped the battlefield." Everyone kind of fled. Many of them died. He tells David, Jonathan and Saul are dead. So then David keeps asking him questions, which gets escalated pretty quickly. David's like, where, like, what are you?
We won't say like certain things.
Yeah,
on
certain
the
things
pod.
you'll have to ask your parents
Yeah,
about. I
yeah.
had to ask mine, and
Yeah.
now I'm traumatized. But anyway, basically, David asks, like, what are you? He said, an Amalekite. And David says, I'm going to quote him here. He said, "Why weren't you afraid to lift your hand to destroy the Lord's anointed?" Then basically David just gets one of his men and says, "Kill him."
Yeah.
And he dies. Second half, he says David's lamented, I think it is.
Lamenting.
That's, yeah.
Yep. He's
That-
mourning. He's
Mourning, he just,
Yep.
yeah.
And again, I think that chapter, it shows one of the we witnessed it and read about it at the end of 1 Samuel, David's honor towards Saul. Even though Saul was trying to kill him, David still showed honor to the throne, to the Lord, by doing so. And even in this moment, instead of rejoicing, like, all right, I'm king.
Yeah, he mourned.
He mourned.
Absolutely.
First for Saul and obviously for
Jonathan, his best friend.
best bud, yeah. So
He said, "Your love for me was more wonderful than that of a woman." So.
yeah. So some key things. Again, we kind of have it in my notes here, just kind of broken down into little segments here. These first chapters, but obviously that happens there in chapter 2. David's anointed king over Judah.
Not entirety of Israel.
Not entirety of Israel yet.
A tribe.
Yeah. And then war continues between whom?
The houses of David and the house of Saul.
Yes. And so Saul had other kids, obviously, besides Jonathan. And
Yes.
some of those other kids did not want to give up the kingdom so easily. And so they
Resulted in the only way that they knew how back then.
fighting for it, right?
War. Yep.
War. And they tried some interesting things, as you'll read in chapter 2 and 3. And some crazy things kind of happened there.
Oh, are we going to talk about the Abner thing?
Well, what do you want to talk about with Abner?
I mean, that's a pretty significant part of this chapter, I think.
What part?
Just the whole, like, chasing.
Yeah, what do you want to talk about? Go for it.
Yeah, so the war, it gets into detail. Abner and Ishabeth, right? Are those the two?
Ishbaheth, yeah. Ishbaseth.
Whatever,
How
it's
do
hard
you
to
say his
say.
name? Yeah.
So, was it Abner chasing? I forget who it was.
Well, I'm trying to figure out where you're at, in all honesty. Yeah, Abner is chasing him.
And he didn't turn to his right nor to his left. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Basically, the guy's like, why would you, like, I can't kill you. I can't look at your brother the same way.
Yeah.
And
right.
then he continues chasing him, and it's Besheth.
Yeah.
The butt of a spear puts that through his chest.
Yeah.
So that's,
Yeah,
again, an eventful...
There's a lot of things that go on in those couple chapters there, and a few people die in that.
Several.
And there's some things that happen, but ultimately it ends up. I'm just trying not to get too deep into that part of it. You enjoy it. Encourage everybody to read it, but it's just a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of fighting, a lot of killing.
This is why I
things
enjoyed
happening.
Gladiator.
Yeah. But ultimately leads to chapter 5. God establishes David there. He becomes king over all of Israel.
Right.
And David was 30 years old when he became king. This is chapter 5, verse 4. David was 30 years old when he became king, and he reigned 40 years. In Hebron, he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months. And in Jerusalem, he reigned over all Israel and Judah 33 years, so a total of 40 years there as king. He comes in, conquers Jerusalem, and then the Philistines hear that he's king, and they want a little piece of David. David inquired of the Lord, shall I go attack him? Will you deliver him into my hands? And the Lord says, go.
Yes, go up
Yep.
to Hebron.
And so he goes up there and he defeats the Philistines. Again, one lesson that we can get over this, I think it's just a great lesson in David's life. That God raises leaders up or raises us up in his timing, not ours, right?
Right.
We talked about it in 1 Samuel. A lot of opportunities he could have tried to take things into his own
Killing
hands.
Saul.
Killing Saul. start battles that he didn't need to start. But I think the other thing is, like, even when the Lord does something, like he's moving in your life, if you read these first 5 chapters of 2 Samuel, and even going back into 1 Samuel, like the Lord had already told David he was going to be king. He had anointed him through
But yet he
Samuel.
chooses to be humble.
Well, yeah, but it's not like, it wasn't like a smooth and easy path. Is
Oh,
my point.
absolutely
He
not.
still had to, like, he's having to fight. You know, he's having to battle. He's having to go through hard times, even though the Lord's hand is on him, and he's the Lord's chosen, and he's a man after God's own heart. He's still having to work. He's still having to fight. And do these things. It's not like it's just like he could just sit back and sit in his throne and have some wine and just like, I'm king now.
Eat grapes.
Yeah, he had to fight for it, right? And so he did that.
Eating grapes is the only luxury thing I know from back in the day. So that and drinking wine, but you already said that. So.
Okay, chapter 6. What do you want to summarize there? Anything? The ark's brought back to Jerusalem. That's basically the...
Yeah, that's the whole thing there. A guy dies.
Uzzah dies, yeah.
He does, yeah, Uzzah.
Here, I wanted to read, actually, I read verse 4. I had it here to read it, and we forgot. But go to verse 10 in chapter 5. I don't want to move on without reading this one.
Okay.
Because, just verse 9 says, Then David took up residence in the fortress and called it the city of David. He built up the area around it. This is after taking over Jerusalem. And then verse 10 says...
And he became more and more powerful because the Lord God Almighty was with him.
Yeah.
I feel like that's crucial. That's just an important verse in life.
Yep. Okay, we're going to get into 6. Again, we brought the ark in. David rejoiced before the Lord, right?
Yep.
Again, we talked about Uzzah. He reached out and took hold of the ark of God because the oxen stumbled. That was the thing. Like, the oxen just stumbled, and he reached out to try to, like, help. But he just can't touch it. And the Lord's anger burned against Uzzah because of his irreverent act. Therefore, God struck him down, and he died before the ark of God. David was angry because the Lord's wrath had broken out against Uzzah. And to this day, this place is called Perez Uzzah. David was afraid of the Lord that day.
Yeah.
And basically said, how can the ark of the Lord even come to me, because
I can't touch it. I feel like it's a little like it's weird to me because it's like the anger of the Lord. Again, God knows all things. God knows why the oxen stumbled. I don't like that. Just makes me curious on like why that ever happened.
I don't know.
That could just be prevented.
Well, again, it's just, I think some of that is just a reminder. A, he's sovereign. B, this should be A, he's holy and he is unapproachable. And while he is he's a loving, kind Father, he's holy and he is above everything. And I think sometimes we talk about him like the big man in the sky and stuff like that, where it's like he's almost one of us, and those are just reminders where no, he's not one of us. And the item that represents him is to be treated reverently, and even though it seems unfair, it does honestly, seem like, well, that's not fair. You guys it's just a guy that saw the oxen stumble and he reached out to help. It seems unfair, but then I think that was David's reaction. But again,
I think it was, yeah.
His ways are higher than ours. He's holy, and we can't. Again, those are just good reminders that he is God.
Holy.
Later in there,
Almighty.
David dances before the Lord. You want to read 2 Samuel 6:14?
Yeah. It's wearing a linen ephod. David was dancing before the Lord with all his might, while he and all Israel were bringing up the ark of the Lord with shouts and the sounds of trumpets. That's a pretty famous verse, I think.
It is, and just a reminder that we can worship the Lord. There's a lot of people that point to that verse as far as just worshiping the Lord without worry.
Isn't a linen ephod like pajamas?
I don't. Yeah, maybe, kind of. I don't know.
I
how
think
to
it
describe
is,
Yeah,
like-
I mean it is, and yes.
Because I was always told in church, because no one knew what a linen ephod was, they would just say
Yeah.
it's pajamas.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
That's how I grew up in church.
Okay. So, yeah. So then again, I think just for the sake of time here, just 7 through 10, really, God's promise to David, and then it's just it's more of David's victories.
Conquers.
Yeah. Yeah. David defeats the Ammonites. Just more, 8 through 10 there. Of David establishing himself. Just read 2 Samuel 10:12. I had that marked to read that, and we'll kind of wrap up with that.
Oh, yeah. Be strong, and let us fight bravely for our people in the cities of our God. The Lord will do what is good in his sight.
Yes, and he will. And so we'll wrap up there because we'll pick up in 11. David, starting 11, starts to make some
Unwise
mistakes.
decisions.
Just some things you have here just to kind of remember. You kind of, for the verse 10 verses, you had a humble heart as mourning for Saul and Jonathan. He becomes king. He worships God, receives promise, wins victories. Those are kind of
Yeah,
a timeline of 1 through 10. And and so then we'll stop there. We'll
plus
pick
a
up
bunch of death and gore.
plus a lot of that. So again, go back and read it. We tried to skip over some of that, but in doing so, maybe there's some holes there. So go fill in some of those holes and
Makes
read
more
through
sense
it.
to us because we have read it.
And then we'll pick up in 11 again. We start to get into some of David was not a perfect man, but we'll get into some of those things as delicately as we can. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. That's it. Thank you guys for being with us. Riker, pray for us, and we'll get out of here.
Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you just for this podcast, Lord. I just pray that anyone out there would just listen and know that if they are struggling with something, Lord, that you do that something good is in their future, Lord. I pray that you would just remind them of that every day, Lord, because we know that the road to glory isn't always easy, Lord. I just pray that we would just have a great day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
So,
Amen. All right.
Player
We
of
love you
the
guys.
week.
Player of the week, Joe Adele.
Joe Adele.
All right. See you guys on the next one.